Your lips are moving, but the words are not yours. You're sitting around a table, in front of a screen, or standing in the middle of a crowd. Everyone around you is looking in the same direction, repeating the same sentence, wearing the same anger or the same admiration. You're there too. You look like one of them, even though that weak, restless voice inside you whispers, "This isn't right." Your neck bends under an invisible weight. You nod, you smile, you clap. In that moment, you lock the doors of your own mind and hand the key to the crowd. Because the visceral cold of standing alone feels more frightening than the warm lie of belonging. That suffocating feeling you sense right now, that alienation, is no coincidence. You are one of millions of souls who have surrendered their will to a current. As your voice dissolves into thousands of others, the question of who you really are is erased in the noise. You have ceased to be. You are now merely an echo. Feel that emptiness inside you. Remember the moment you accepted something just because everyone else did. Notice how you wore a piece of clothing simply because it was in the shop windows, or defended an idea only because it was labeled the right one. This is the darkest and most comfortable corner of your mind. The bandwagon effect, that famous herd psychology, pulls you into a vortex while promising safety. Everyone can't be wrong, it whispers. If everyone is running in this direction, there must be salvation there. But if everyone is running toward a cliff, your presence among them doesn't make the fall any less painful. You just don't die alone. That's all. Close your eyes and picture that moment. You're in the middle of an argument. Everyone has chosen a side. In truth, you're closer to the other side. Or maybe you know both sides are ridiculous, but your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. You're terrified of saying the wrong thing, of being pushed out of that warm circle. So you suffocate the truth inside and put the mask of the herd on your face. Your silence is the most powerful fuel feeding the noise of the crowd. Why are you so weak? Why do you push your own truth aside and cling to someone else's fiction? The answer isn't in your modern mind. It's buried in the dusty archives of your primitive brain. Thousands of years ago, being alone on the savannah meant death. The one who left the group, broke from the herd, went in a different direction, became dinner. Belonging meant survival. Conformity meant breathing another day. Back then, thinking differently wasn't courage. It was digging your own grave. Today, you're no longer at risk of being torn apart by wild animals, but your brain still runs on that ancient fear. Being excluded by a social media lynch mob triggers the same neural region as a lion attack did back then. Exclusion is a biological panic. That's why, even when your logic says, "This is nonsense," your amygdala screams, "Bow and obey." Dressed in 21st century suits, you are still that trembling primitive human at the mouth of the cave, desperate for the herd's warmth. Your truths kneel before your instinct to survive. Now look at your screen. The endless scrolling, the likes you tap, the names you follow, they're all mirrors, but not mirrors that show you who you are. Mirrors that show who you're supposed to be. Mirrors that approve of you, that keep you not as yourself, but as a part of the herd. Algorithms understand this weakness better than you do. They feed you only what you want to hear, only what the majority accepts. And inside that echo chamber, you mistake hearing your own voice repeated thousands of times for truth. Chasing a trend, hiding behind a hashtag, or throwing stones at a popular object of hatred makes you feel powerful, doesn't it? because there are thousands behind you. But that power isn't yours. It's the power of a flood, uncontrolled, mindless, destructive. When the flood recedes, all that remains is mud and your lost identity. The crowd takes away your loneliness, but it also takes your identity. You chose to be a cog in a massive machine rather than bear the heavy responsibility of being an individual. Remember, maybe you've heard of it. You're sitting in a room. Lines are in front of you. It's obvious which one is the longest, but everyone beside you, who are actually actors, points to the wrong one. Your turn comes. Your eyes see the truth. The line is right there, its shortness and undeniable truth. But the air in the room thickens. You feel the other's gazes on you. And then the lie slips from your mouth. Just to say the same thing they do, you deny the truth you can clearly see. You're no different from that person in the room. Every day, every hour, you live that experiment. At the office, at school, among friends. You sacrifice the truth because the reward of conformity feels more appealing than the loneliness of being right. This is mental laziness. Making your own decision is hard. It requires energy. It requires courage. Attaching yourself to others' decisions, following the locomotive like a rail car, is effortless. With zero friction, you live someone else's life. So where does this path lead? When you become like everyone else, when you become just one of them, what remains of you? The ideas you've collected, the values you've defended, the decisions you've made, which of them are truly yours? If one day the crowd disperses and you're left alone in that square, will you remember who you are? Or are you just an empty shell, a container filled by others? Losing your own voice is a slow-motion suicide. First, you make small compromises. Let's not ruin the mood, you say. Then you become complicit in bigger lies. Eventually, you can no longer recognize the face staring back at you in the mirror, because that face is a patchwork stitched together from thousands of other people's expectations. You live your own tragedy as a background extra in someone else's comedy. And worst of all, you don't even realize it. Stop now. Take a breath. Silence the noise for a moment. Imagine everyone around you going quiet, the screens turning off, the tables emptying, just you and raw reality. Do you still defend the same things? Do you still love the same things? Or did those ideas exist only because others were there? Awareness hurts. Leaving the herd is like walking against the wind. You'll be cold. You'll be tired. You may even be cast out. But that wind will strip away the foreign scent that's clung to you. When you hear your own voice for the first time, it will feel unfamiliar, weak and trembling. But it's yours. Despite thousands of years of evolutionary fear, despite the lies filling the room, being able to say no is the moment you reclaim your human dignity. True freedom is knowing what the crowd says and placing your own truth on the table anyway. This isn't arrogance. It's a debt you owe to your existence. Those who change the world aren't the ones swept away by the current, but the ones who stand against it and question its direction. You're not a rail car. You can be a locomotive. But first, you must break those invisible ties, those mental chains. Open your eyes. Take back the approval on the table. Question the fake likes on the screen. Don't hide inside your own silence. The warmth of the crowd is actually a fire, and it burns your originality to ash. Learn to stand tall in your own cold, because only when you can stand on your own can you truly belong anywhere. Otherwise, you're just an object thrown into a place. I do not accept this silence, where everyone thinks the same thing. No one is really thinking at all.